Hi everyone, Vegas from Critic here, Jeff Howard here at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood. 11 new mazes, it's supposed to be really horrific, including Killer Clowns from Outer Space, one of my favorite horror films of the 1980s. The Chiodo brothers are rumored to be walking the red carpet. Hopefully we'll get our scare on.
You will be spared when my species overtakes your miserable planet.
Thanks, Dan. Take care. Hey, how are you?
Dan, Jeff from Las Vegas.
Hi, good to see you.
I
watched Casino the other night.
Did you really?
Wow.
Yeah.
What a picture. What a picture. Oh, my God.
I used to watch Lenny Rosenthal's show when I was a child. I was born and raised in Las Vegas.
Just De Niro and Pesci in that film. And how about Sharon Stone? What a performance.
Incredible.
God, that was a good film.
Hey, look, I'm dressed as you tonight.
Very good.
You know, I was Generation X, 1984. I graduated from high school. Ghostbusters was my life. And I'm just saying, what makes that movie so enduring? It's more popular than ever.
Well, I think the heart of it and the performances of Billy and Sigourney at the heart of the romance there, the intelligence of it. You know, Harold and I wrote that. We weren't pitching down to the audience. We were pitching up. We were combining the best of the old, comedy films from the 30s, Abbott and Costello, Ghost Breakers, Ghost Hunters. Bing Crosby and Bob Hope did one. The Bowery Boys did them. So we thought, let's take the comedians of today and marry them with the science of the paranormal. And I think that just people had connected with people in a way that, a good film and a good entertainment piece does. Yeah.
And now here at Universal Studios, it's considered rumored to be the best maze here.
I would say so. I've yet to go through it fully activated, but it sure looked good when I went through it recently.
And the last time I spoke to you was a while ago. It was for the grand opening of House of Blues in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay.
That is, of course, one of the greatest nightclubs in the world. Our foundation room at the top of that facility.
I've been there many times. Yeah, I love it. It's the best view in Vegas.
I love our House of Blues. I missed the one in L.A. here. I'm sorry that's gone.
Yeah. Dan, such a thrill. Thank you so much.
Sure enough.
I like it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm here. And when Dan came up, I was just, in seventh heaven. I've known you my whole life. I'm Generation X, and your movies have meant so much to me growing up. I mean, you've always been part of my life. And the last time I spoke to you was a while ago. It was the Evolution junket.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I was just talking to another gentleman who was, I was saying that was a movie that almost got there all the way, but didn't quite work in the last act. But I'm still proud of it, and I love the actors and working with them in it.
And so much time has passed since then, but I remember just asking about the Ghostbusters reboot. We were having a great conversation. The last thing I said to you, and you were smiling, you went, ain't gonna happen. I got you on camera doing
Well, here you go. I'm heading to Calgary tomorrow to sit beside my son Jason, who's directing a really wonderful script that he and Gil Keenan wrote. And I think historical fans of Ghostbusters and people who just start to find out about it lately are going to really take to this movie.
And we have the maze tonight. Are you going to be brave enough to go through it?
Yeah, this is going to be my first maze, my virgin experience. And apparently I'm doing it in front of a lot of people. It just scares me a little.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
Pleasure. Jeff Howard from Las Vegas. I got my ticket for Monday. I'm ready for my free poster. And I'm ready to rock and roll. One question for you. How do you make a movie look so big budget on such a small budget? It's such an art form. You're just so good at that.
Well, it's taken years to figure that out. But it's, I don't know, very careful planning, because so much of what I learned over the years is pre-production is everything. So I try to start every movie as dialed in as possible, which is not to say that instantly something goes wrong, but, that's the way you got to do it.
I've been waiting from Three from Hell for a long time, so.
Well, it's worth the wait.
Thank you so much. Such a thrill. Thank you so much. Tony, want to do a double?
Let's do a double interview.
We're going to do it. This is Tony Toscano from Salt Lake.
This is Jeff Howard from Las Vegas.
And we are major horror fans. I just bought my ticket on Fathom Events the other day. Just talked to Rob Zombie, so I can die now. And now I just talked to you, too, so
now you can live.
I can live.
Isn't that the whole idea of horror? The dead coming back to life?
Exactly.
And religion, when you think about it.
That's right.
I've been waiting so long for this sequel, and what took so long?
That's a Rob question. I don't know. I'm just glad that in a couple of days it's finally going to actually be on the big screen. I am, I've waited for it. I didn't wait the full 14 years because I really thought we were done at the end of Devil's Rejects, but I've waited now it's been about 2 years since from that lunch where Rob said we're getting the band back together. and Monday night when this finally shows on the big screen.
I feel like I gotta take a Xanax before I see Three from Hell.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Take two, actually. Take one for me.
Now, at the end of the day,
Or take three.
at the end of the day, when you're looking at a horror movie for yourself, do you like comedy horror better or horror?
I like horror. I'm a big fan of Midsummer. I don't know if you
Wow,
saw
I
that.
loved it, yeah.
Oh my God! Get Out. I like. There's some good horror movies out there. Hereditary. I like it when it's. I certainly like some humor in my horror, just to kind of lighten it up. But that should only emphasize the scary parts, not just make it like, oh yeah, So I guess, is that the answer to your question?
It is, and I'm just pinching myself because I'm in the presence of horror legend.
Well, I'm not that old, but I know people say icon. I'm thinking, well, I looked it up in the dictionary, and it's like a religious picture that is actually means the deity itself. And so I'm certainly not that. But
You need your long hair back. I didn't recognize you.
well, actually, Rob has that. Rob has that hair because that was not mine. It's my beard and their hair. And actually, it's the same hair that was used in Devil's Rejects. And I don't mean to spoil people that think I'm growing 7-foot long hair, but I was given that hair piece back when we were doing Devil's Rejects, and I was told it was made from the hair of Italian orphans or something. There was some kind of, it was very exotic, and I was
Had to be cursed.
I was told that don't screw it up because it's worth more than you are. And lo and behold, when we did Three from Hell, I guess Rob had kept that in a humidor or something because he pulled it out and it was the same hair. So
Same orphan hair.
Same curse after 14 years.
Same curse. Maybe that's why it lasted so long.
Total thrill. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
For this double
All right,
pleasure.
my pleasure.
Thanks,
All
Mr.
right,
Legend.
guys. All right, thank you very much. Yeah.
Take care.
Say hi to Mrs. Legend.
Three. She's home walking the dog. There you go.
Good to see you again, Jeff from Vegas.
Yes.
I have tried for the past 2 decades to make a pilgrimage to a certain junkyard in Los Angeles, and it's my favorite movie of all time. I even went to Martha's Vineyard for the 30th anniversary, and now I follow you on Instagram religiously. I just want to say thank you for restoring Bruce. And how is it going?
It's great. I'll tell you, we had a couple weeks ago. I invited Jeffrey Kramer, who played Hendrix, and Roy Arbogast and Joe Alves, who both built the shark, up to the shop. And Roy walked in. He was responsible for making the skins for the shark. And he walked in and he looked at it and he said, I have goosebumps. Like the guy who built the shark. And I really wanted to dive into his brain and grab all the memories of what it was like to build it. And I said, listen, that shark is a tribute to every special effects artist, every technician ever born. And I felt like the opportunity that I had to restore it so that people can see it and marvel in its brilliance is it's a dream come true for me.
Because we've lost the Orca, we've lost so many original props, and a lot of us were seeing that thing just dying up on that pole, and it was in good hands when you had it. So on behalf of Jaws fans all over the world, thank you so much. And when is it going to dispose?
It's gonna.
I can't even talk.
No. It'll be in the Motion Picture Academy Museum. I think it's going to be spring, but the restoration's finished. It was missing the inside of the mouth. It was missing some claspers. So I resculpted the interior of the mouth. So I have a picture of me sculpting the mouth of the shark. So I'm like, this is about as close as I'm ever going to get to having worked on Jaws.
Greg, thanks so much. And I love Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Come in since '99, so I've been coming 20 years. And that House of a Thousand Corpses maze traumatized me the first time I went through it. I'd never experienced anything like that. So I'm looking forward to going through it again.
Oh, this is kind of like a childhood dream come true. The idea that you could actually contribute to something that terrified me on a primal level, like a haunted house. So I love the fact that going through the maze is kind of like it's kind of like this miniature version of the movie experience.
Come here, guys. Hi, what's going on? I'm Jeff from Vegas, and Generation X, graduated in 1984. Your movie, I want to get on my knees and like praise you guys right now. So,
no need.
I mean, I have the DVD of this, and I have the laser disc of this movie. Yeah. So tell me about this movie is a classic, but how did it become a horror maze at Universal Studios this year?
It only took 30 years. Yeah, no, just I guess we struck a nerve. People seem to like it. We're surprised as anybody.
Yeah, I think that's it. They took a vote and they said killer clowns.
Yeah, everything becomes beautiful in its own time.
It's the fans that have been keeping it alive all these years.
And when I think of the movie, I think the great John Vernon. Whoop. What do we have here? That's just the greatest. Did he improv that line?
That was scripted. That was one of the.
Yeah, that one was. But him opening up the drawer, taking out the booze, improv.
Yeah, he taught us a lot. It was our first film. 30 years ago, we made our first film, and we learned a lot from the professionals that we work with, including John.
Where's the pressure on making a sequel? 30 years? What's going on?
We've been thinking about clowns for 30 years. We've come close a lot of times, and something's always pulled it away. We're hoping that this publicity and the fact that it's at Universal Horror Haunts will bring it back in big.
Yeah, we want to make it. Fans seem to want us to make it, so hopefully we'll get to do it one day.
Well, before midnight, where's the GoFundMe? I'll be the first on there.
Yeah, there you go.
We do have MGM is approving a concert movie. As we speak, we performed a concert with the Dickies last year with the film on 3 screens with a huge live audience. It was absolutely amazing. So we look forward to that potentially coming out.
And this is John Massari, the composer of Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
I know who he is very well, and in fact have the CD single from the day with the Dickies. I have that in my collection.
And the Dickies were great because they brought a whole nother audience to the film.
Well, thank you guys so much. It's been a total thrill.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm good. How are you?
I find it unusual that you're in one of the most horrific movies of all time, but you're not even old enough to watch it. But something tells me you did.
Yeah, I did. And you have to be older than 5 to see that movie.
And Halloween's coming up. That's my favorite holiday. What about you?
It's my favorite holiday too because I don't really like candy, but I love Snickers.
When you go out trick-or-treating, do you go with a bunch of friends or who do you go with?
I normally go with family.
And what are you going to be this year?
Young Adelaide, the scary version though.
Now, are you going to go in the maze tonight, or I'm too scared to go? What about you?
Yeah, I'll be touring you guys through it.
And do you collect, about Funko Pops? Look, I got Jason Blum.
Oh, I do collect those, yeah.
This is coming out next month, but look, that's the producer.
That's so cool.
Evan, hi. Jeff from Vegas, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I don't know, I'm pretty freaked out here. I'm at Halloween Horror Nights, and I'm looking forward to the Us maze. How about you? You going in it?
Yes, I'm going through all of it.
Are you brave?
Yes!
Halloween's my favorite time of year. What about yours?
My Halloween. Halloween has always been my favorite time of year. Because this is where I get to see everything. Like, some people oh, give me that candy. Like, watching this and not doing anything, I'd be like, oh, wow.
Now, I'm old school. I use a pillowcase. What about you?
I use whatever I can.
And what are you going to be this year?
A parrot for a pirate crew because me and my siblings are doing a pirate crew. And I'm going to be the parrot, or I'll be Pluto.
What are you doing?
John Murdy. Every year, it's always a pleasure.
Nice. I see you dressed up for the occasion.
Absolutely. So tell me, what was the most challenging maze this year? They're all because like 10 new ones.
Yeah, there's 10 mazes, more than we've ever done before. And there's several that were uniquely challenging and for different reasons. Stranger Things because of the special effects. All this stuff that you see on the screen that's created with computer animation, we have to create physically. So that's the Demo Dogs and the Mind Flayer from Season 2, that horrible creature from Season 3, you'll run into him. We have a little tease of Season 3 at the end. But all of those things we have to make, and they don't exist in the physical world. Ghostbusters, because that's a big change for us. That's trying to do comedy horror, which we really haven't done a whole lot of in the past. Trying to be true to that film, make everything look like that film, but also hopefully be scary as well. But predominantly, I think fun.
Also fun is Killer Clowns. I mean, it's
Oh,
horrific.
yeah.
And the Kyoto brothers here, are you kidding me? They're legends.
Oh yeah, I mean Killer Clowns feels like Killer Clowns. Even to the extent of I designed the scene for Farmer Gene to be out in front of that giant circus big top spaceship at the beginning. He does his whole dialogue. He grabs the the tent pole and gets electrocuted. I mean, it's like, and I've never done that before. I blocked like a scene in front of the maze just for the people waiting in line, And then there's us, which is probably the biggest challenge of all, not necessarily in terms of special effects, but in terms of tone and trying to be true to that film, which is an incredibly layered, detailed, brilliant film. So we went to extraordinary lengths with that, not only working with Jordan Peele and everybody at Monkey Paw, but bringing out the actual choreographer who did all of the movement for the movie, flying her out from New York while she's doing some other production. She worked with every one of our cast members. She actually blocked the maze and choreographed everything. And when you see it, it feels like the film, and it really shows.
You're the unsung hero of Halloween Horror Nights, and I thank you. We all do.
My pleasure.
Thanks, John. Dana, Jeff from
to see you.
Vegas.
How are you? Yes,
I'm
hi.
doing great. I follow you on Twitter all the time.
Nice to see you. This is Kat.
Hi, Kat. How are you? I'm Jeff from Vegas. And when you were here, I'm just so excited because I'm such a fan, Simpsons fan, and
thank you.
I just think you're just one of the greatest voices in comedy right now.
Thank you very much. I
You know,
appreciate it.
yeah.
I'm on 2 rides here at the park tonight. I'm the Simpsons ride and the Creep Show ride. It's a big night.
So talk about Twitter. I mean, how does that interacting with fans? Because I read your feed every day, and it's just I get so much pleasure out of it.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, the greatest thing about the way Twitter and podcasts have really changed stand-up, certainly the relationship that you have with fans, it's much more interactive now. I talk to people directly all day, and especially with the podcast, when people come to shows, you do a meet and greet after, and it's all people that listen to your podcast, and they really do know you. And it's not like in the old days you'd finish a show and take off, and now you stay and you meet people, and it's great. There's a much closer relationship between the audience and the performer. I think that's healthy. I think that's good.
And tonight we have 11 new mazes, including Creep Show. So are you guys looking forward to that?
I'm excited to see what from the show is in the maze. Yeah, hopefully I'm in the maze.
Is she going to be going through the maze with you?
This is going to be her first maze.
Don't look scared yet. It comes later.
It's mixed emotions.
So talk about this is like a ritual for you guys now to be on the Horror Nights here, huh?
Yeah, it's our 5th year in Horror Nights, and it's always exciting. It's always amazing to be out here. The energy is great, and we just love the people out here.
And I'm born and raised in Las Vegas. How do you like my town?
Oh, I love it. I love your jacket. It says 24 everything. That's what Vegas is to us.
Yes, hospitality galore. I love it. Very dope.
Love it. I mean, we've been there for the last decade now, and we've had so much support from the local community, and just having our show at MGM's been I mean, I can't believe it's been 10 years. So we consider ourselves Vegas residents now for sure.
I know you guys have a maze, but are you looking forward to any other mazes tonight?
Us. Them or us?
Yeah, for sure.
Us.
Tell me. Us.
Stranger
not
Things.
us, but us.
Yeah, not us, but us. But yeah.
The us. I don't know. Does that make it more clear?
How many of you guys have binge watched Stranger Things the new season?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
One day.
Sitting.
I lost my life for like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It was my favorite in high school. Have you guys seen it?
Have not. I have not. No.
This interview's over. For more reviews and interviews, just surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. From Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood, I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. I'll see you next time.